Hi Jenny, it's Max here, wrapping up week 4 with the reflection questions. So we'll start with the first one, dealing with creating multimedia while abiding by fair use. I think the first thing we as teachers need to do in order to create multimedia is to understand fair use laws and to educate our students. If anything in the week 1 module stood out to me, it was how much of fair use might be easily confused by certain teachers who use multimedia. And I'm especially surprised at things that we share with our students. And I think with an understanding of fair use, we can choose assignments that best fit the media abilities of our students. And I know in my multimedia class, I used the Google ribbon to show my students the Creative Commons labeled images, label for reuse, label for non-commercial use, and things like that. But using open source image databases is also a really positive step that everybody can do. And it's easy and it's free. So I think that's one of the things teachers can do to abide by fair use. Number 2, with curating content, supporting multimedia project creation. I think the curating sources are a really valuable tool for students and teachers alike. Personally, I used to use Dropbox. I still use Dropbox for my own file transfers, and I've had students who have had success with it as well. Basically, what Dropbox does is creates an online folder that you can put documents, files, images, videos, whatever you have on your computer. You can put them in a Dropbox folder, and you can use the online portal or download the program, which essentially creates a new folder on your hard drive. And before I started teaching, when I worked in multimedia, a tool like this was really valuable. You could share folders with any clients and anyone else who essentially wanted to share files that you used. They could share logos with you. You could send proof copies to them. This was predicated, though, on each user having a Dropbox account. What I really liked about Dropbox, and what I really like about it now, is that I have Dropbox on my home computer. I also have it on my school laptop. And whenever I do a lesson plan or I have a video I want to show, I just drag and drop it over. Now, the curating tool that I used for this class was Pearl Trees, and I think the best aspect of that, in my opinion, was the ability to share multiple types of files. PDFs, web links. Web links were really interesting, that I could share them with students or even parents. And from the experience I had with this tool, I don't think you need an account to view or share the files or the bookmarked web pages. So what you could do is link your Pearl Trees out to your LMS or your learning management system. So in my case, that would be Sapphire. And you could have the students go out to your Pearl Trees and tell them, I want you to read this link. But oftentimes what I end up doing is taking that web link and just linking it in my LMS. But as I learned in this class, I might be violating a copyright in doing that, which I'm not sure how Pearl Trees would fix that, but it's something that I definitely need to be aware of. Next up was dealing with how does multimedia project support best practices in teaching and learning. I know in my district we work to use Bloom's taxonomy in our classrooms, which I know explaining and remembering are on the lower levels, and evaluating, creating are on the top, meaning this type of cognitive process, this teaching with multimedia, is known and designed to create longer and lasting levels of knowledge in our students, which is what we're going for, right? Multimedia projects are not only on those higher levels of Bloom's, but in my experience, they're just more fun, especially for the kids I have in my upper levels of accounting. There's just so many financial documents or problems that you can do before kids start to lose interest. And about halfway through the year, I start to see that they're like, not another one of these things. So I try to incorporate multimedia in that class a lot. Since I'm an elective teacher, I try to make my classes interesting and fun as well as informative, simply because, sorry about that. My iPad's making noise. Simply because as an elective teacher, if I don't make my classes fun, nobody's going to take my classes. So using multimedia is a fun way to keep things interesting and informative, and at the highest level of Bloom's as well. And finally, how does student creation transform learning for students? Well, like I mentioned before with Bloom's taxonomy, the conceptual knowledge of our curriculum in regards to facts, theories, principles, things like that go so far with students, especially today's students. I think it's important to really encourage and foster creativity in our students. In Pennsylvania here, I know schools really push keystone test knowledge, and then the teachers just push fact, 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 memorize, 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 and so forth. But ultimately, I think that creativity allows students to take ownership of their learning. Because of that, I think they retain more, and that's what we as educators should be striving for. It's what we should push for, is for our students to learn, retain, and put into action what they've learned. Imagine where we'd be without creativity as a people. I don't think I'd be recording myself on this iPad. This class probably doesn't exist. Who knows if I'm even a teacher? Probably not. So I think creativity gives that ownership to that student, and in turn, we help to build an overall better landscape of learning. And that's a great thing. It's what we should be shooting for, I think. So thank you for running this class. I believe I have all the projects in, and if not, I will certainly go back and communicate with people via the message boards as well and see what kind of things they've put out there. But I want to thank you for running this class, and I really had some cool experiences out there, some interesting projects. So thank you, and I'll be uploading this now.